Hello everyone, today we're gonna learn how to boot more than one operation system on one PC. First of all, you need to have Rufus tool. You can download it from the official site of Rufus and the ISO files of the operation systems you want to boot. In my case, I will use Windows and Bliss OS, which is Android, and Kali Linux, all in one PC. You need to have at least one 8 gigabits of flash drive or memory card. Then you open Rufus and select the ISO file of any Linux distribution to use it to partition the hard drive. In my case, I will use bodhilinux. You click open and click start. Make sure the partition is GBT and you click start and wait the magic to be finished. Don't forget to use the DD image mode and click OK on all boxes or wait the loading bar to be finished. Now after it's being finished, you insert a new memory card or flash drive and select the new operation system you want. In my case, I will use Kali Linux. Make sure the partition is GBT and click start, just like the same thing you did before in the first image, and wait the loading bar. Now after it's being finished, you select the third image you want to burn on your flash drive or your memory card. In my case, I will select Windows 11. It's a modified version of the Windows. I can't tell where you can download that version of Windows, but if you dig up the internet you will find it out. After the burning process is finished and all the images you need is on the flash drive or the memory card, you come to the next step, which is booting your PC to the BIOS. Simply you click delete on your keyboard or you tab F12 on your keyboard depending on your PC manufacturer. Be noticed that BIOSes with UEFI are the only BIOSes compatible with this method. Any BIOS which is older than UEFI, which is called MBR, is not compatible with this method, so be noticed. The UEFI BIOSes are the PCs made prior to 2012, so please be notified to comply with these steps. Now reboot and wait for the BIOS. Now insert the bodhilinux USB drive and select F12 or F9 depending on your PC. Select the UEFI external USB drive and select the try body option. Wait for the loading screen to complete and select the language. Click next. Now the bodhilinux desktop will be shown up. Now on the start screen, go to the applications and system tools. Select gparted. This tool we will partition our hard drive to be compatible with more than one operation system. Now select your hard drive. In my case, I select my 2 TB NVMe. Select from the device tab the create partition table. Select the GBT partition. This is very important. This method won't work if you don't select the partition table as GBT. Now after being selected, as I mentioned, select GBT and save. Now you can make your own partitions. I will make the partitions and I will explain each one and what it should do. The first partition will be 768 megabytes. It will be for the ESP partition we will select ext4 file system. But after that we will delete it and leave it as an unlocated space. This is the first partition we're gonna make. It's gonna be for the Kali Linux. Kali Linux is the responsible for the whole boot operation and the whole boot sequence. It will be the controller of all the operation system's boot process. Selected as primary, and the file system is an ext4, and the file size I'll give it about 64 gig. We'll give it a name, and the name is Kali, and click add. Now we shall delete the last created partition, which we mentioned before. It was for the ESP partition, and we create a new partition for the Linux swap area. We'll give it 2 gigabytes. Click add. Yeah, let's rename it swap. Now we have an unlocated space and the partition for the Kali Linux and 2 gigabytes of swap area. Now we create a partition for the Windows operation system. Let's give it a name, Windows, and the file system is ntfs. Let's give it a space. In my case I'll give it about 500 gigs, 500 and something. Now after selecting the space for your partition, and you have now 3 partitions, one for Kali Linux and one for swap area and one for Windows. Now we create an extra partition for the Windows operation system. In my case I will give it about 1 terabyte. Rename it a local disk, and the file system as mentioned it's ntfs. You give the space. 1 terabyte is about 1024 something more zeros. And the final stage, you make a partition for the Android operation system. In my case I left about 146 gigs for the Android operation system. You select it as ext4 file system. Now you completed the partitioning process. You have unlocated partition for the SP, and a partition for Kali Linux, and partition for swap, and a partition for Windows, and a partition for, this is my second hard drive. I will make it ntfs, and also I will own it to the Windows operation system as a local disk. Now after finishing the partitioning process, you apply all changes you made. Click on the apply button and click on apply and wait for the process to finish. Now when everything is finished, you exit from gparted and reboot your PC. After rebooting, insert the Kali Linux flash. When your BIOS starts, select the boot menu by pressing F12 or F9 depending on your PC. Don't select that menu, don't use it. It's not GPT menu. Use the UEFI menu, which will be in high resolution. Press F9 or F12. Select the UEFI option. Now select the install option. A pile of loading menus and language select menus will pop up. Just wait. Now it will tell you there is no drivers in the disk. Just say yes. Configure the network. Use the Ethernet interface. It will say something about the DHCP server. Say OK and say don't use the network. The full name of the new user, just write Kali. Now put your password, your root password. More loading screen will pop up. Now the partitioning process. We already left a free space. We'll make it the ESP partition. System, just go and select EFI system partition and select done. For the Kali Linux partition, select ext4 and the mount point, select the root file system. Select done setting up the partition and select the last option, finish partitioning and write change to the disk. It will tell you to write change, select yes. Now wait for the installation process to be finished. In the middle of installation process, a message will pop up tell you to select the interface you want for your desktop. For me, I like GNOME interface, so using the space bar, remove the star from the
XFCE
desktop and select GNOME desktop and press enter to continue the installation. Now the installation process has been finished. Press enter to reboot your PC into the Kali Linux operation system. Press enter to boot Kali Linux. Now enter your password and press enter, so you are successfully booted into Kali Linux. The next step is adding the support for multi-boot using the UEFI framework interface. Now make sure you are connected to the internet via Wi-Fi or Ethernet. Open the terminal emulator and do sudo ipt update. Enter your root password to update your Kali Linux packages. Now let's install Nautilus File Manager with administration rights. It's necessary to edit the ASP partition and modify the files to make it multi-boot compatible. Write sudo and apt install nautilus-admin and press enter. Now select yes to proceed with the installation process. Now we're gonna install Refined Boot Manager. Refined will control our boot process. It's the tool that we will use to auto-selecting the operation system, and Refined will detect the partition and the operation system in each partition and will be our tool to proceed with the boot selection process. Now Refined has been installed. We open the file manager and select other location. Then we're gonna move to the main drive and select the boot folder. On the EFI folder we select open as administration and we enter the root password. Now we are select the EFI folder, then another EFI, select Refined folder. Now to customize Refined, we're gonna put our own theme. There is a lot of themes you can find online. For example, if you Google Refined themes, you can find a lot of themes on GitHub. Let's try this Refined Glassy theme. For example, you click on the code and download that IP file. When the download is finished, you go to the theme main page. There is a line. You copy that line to the configuration file of Refined Boot Manager. You enter the root password and authenticate. You go to the end of the configuration file, press enter to go to new line and paste the line and save the file. Now you create a new folder called themes. Now you open the downloaded file and extract that folder. You rename the correct name of the theme, just like how it's written on the line in the configuration file. You cut the folder to the Refined Themes folder you have earlier created. Now the theme has been successfully set up. Now you reboot your PC to make sure that Refined has been successfully applied and working without any problem. Now, as we see, Refined has been installed. You know, there's an option for Kali Linux and there's an option for the USB flash drive. Don't select the Windows installation from Refined menu. Just reboot your PC and select the boot menu from your BIOS by pressing F12 or F9 depending on your PC made and manufacturer. Now from the BIOS boot menu, select UEFI Generic Storage or Partition 1, which is the Windows installation media. Now Windows installation will be loading. Now simply select the partition we already made, the one with 650 gigs, and click next. Just wait for the installation to be finished and you should successfully have Windows alongside with Kali Linux working in one PC. Now, as we know, Windows will always prioritize its bootloader on other bootloader. So when it boot for the first time, Windows will be the only operation system on your PC. Don't worry. You just need to boot for the Windows for the first time and reboot your PC to the BIOS and make refined the first boot option. Now exit and save the settings. Now you should be back to refined with the option to boot from Windows and the option to boot from Kali Linux. Now we boot from Windows. Now we have successfully made a dual boot PC. The next thing is we're gonna install Android as a third operation system. Now we have a dual boot PC with Kali Linux installed and with Windows installed. Now let's reboot and boot from the Android flash drive or memory card we have earlier burned on. Now from your BIOS boot menu, select UEFI flash drive with Android operation system installed on. Bliss OS installation is selected. Now go to the last option, which is skip. Yes, skip it. Now you should know your ext4, which you earlier made on gparted for the Android operation system. We have two ext4. The first one was for the Kali Linux installation. The second one is for the Android installation. So select the second one. Rename it Bliss OS or rename it Android. It's your call. Yes, click format the partition. After the partition has been formatted, options will be popping up. Select yes for the OTA update and select the GRUB2 EFI bootloader and select no for deleting the options for older installation. Select no for deleting the Bliss OS installation if you have an old installation for the Android OS. Now it's installing the Android operation system. You just wait up to the process to be finished. Now installation is finished. Select reboot and press enter on OK. So the PC will reboot now. As always, Android will prioritizing its boot menu on other boot menu, which is refined. So you need to enter your BIOS again and prioritize refined as the first boot option. Now on refined, you notice the new theme I put, the matrix one. You have the option for the boot menu. You can boot Kali Linux or Windows or Android, which has the penguin logo. So we select the Android, we press enter for Bliss OS, which is the same Android, and we have successfully made 3 OS PC. The first operation system is Kali Linux, which has a control boot process. The second OS is Windows and the third OS is Android. I hope this video has helped a lot of people, and I'm sorry for my bad accent. If you like what you see and you want more of these kind of videos, please subscribe to the channel and activate the bell and hit the like button. That will help me a lot. Thank you for your support and thank you for watching, and goodbye everyone.